This is the second video in variables and graphs in the course Math 5D02 Mathematics for Natural Sciences. Here we define the first term as functions. If to each value of a variable x, there corresponds one or more values of a variable y, we say that y is a function of x, and we write y equal to f of x. X is called independent variable and y dependent on x. The set of all possible values of x is called the domain of the function. The set of all possible values of y is called the range of f. If y is a function of x, we write y equal to f of x. If corresponding to each value of x, there is a single value for y, we say that y is a single valued function of x. Otherwise, that is, there are more than one value corresponding to each x, then y is a multiple valued function. Example, consider the following table. From the year 1987 to 1997, the number of bushels of wheat produced in a field is given in the column 1, and number of bushels of corn is given in the second column. Now this is a function. This is a function of the year 1987. Corresponding to each year, there are two values. One is the number of bushels of wheat, and other is the number of bushels of corn. So, from this example, what is the least number of bushels of wheat produced? What is the greatest number of bushels of corn produced? The greatest decline in the wheat production occurred in which year? This can be obtained from this table. For example, the least number of bushels of wheat was produced. Among these values, the least value is 185, and it was produced in the year 1988. Similarly, the greatest number of bushels of corn was produced. The greatest number is 110, and 110 is occurred twice. It occurs in the year 1993 and 1996. So, the number of bushels versus the year is a multi-valued function. For example, the number of bushels of corn produced was 110. The corresponding year is 1993 and 1996. So there are two values corresponding to 110. So this is the case of multi-valued function. Rectangular coordinates is very important as far as geometry and graphing is concerned. Consider two mutually perpendicular straight lines x dash ox and y dash oy, which intersect at the point O. We have two these straight lines are marked with appropriate scales. Now, the plane can be divided into 4 quadrants. 1, 2, marked as 1, 2, 3, 4. That is x o y, x dash o y, x dash o y dash and x o y dash. These are called the four quadrants. Now to represent a point P, we draw vertical lines to x-axis and y-axis. It means at 2 on x-axis and 3 on y-axis. So we call the point P as ordered pair 2, 3. Similarly, we can represent the points Q, R, S, etc. Any point in the plane can be represented using these rectangular coordinates. Now, what is the graph? Graph is a pictorial representation of the relation between two variables. Some types of graphs, bar graph, line graph, pie graph, etc. These are very familiar to us and it is very much connected to our real life. For example, the number of HIV patients discharged from a hospital with a diagnosis of HIV in thousands from 1990 to 1994 is given in the table. In the year 1990, 146,000 HIV patients are discharged. Now, correspondingly, in each year is given in the table. How can we draw the bar graph and line graph of the data? We make rectangles. We make rectangles with the center at the year 1990 and symmetric to 1990 with the height 146. Similarly, in 1991 we take symmetric with respect to 1991 and the height is the data 165. So this table can be pictorially represented by the bar graph like this. See, a line graph is very similar to this, but what we are doing is we mark 146 against the year 1990 and 165 against 1991, etc. These points are marked and joined by straight line segments. Okay, this is the end of this video.